All right, Melody, over to you.
Perfect. Awesome. Good morning, everyone. Well, I guess it's technically afternoon for me, but let's be real that time change still has me feeling like it might be 11 a.m. right now. Okay. I am very excited. It is starting Mexico. Yeah, let me see where everyone's kind of tuning in from right now. Atlanta, Canada, Columbus, Ohio. I know Sam's out in LA. So we got everybody just kind of tuning in. And like I said, I'm so excited because, friends, it is starting to feel like spring. Oh my goodness, the sun is shining. I'm very thrilled right now because I just moved into my new suite that has a window. So I don't feel like I'm stuck in a cave all day when I'm working. I actually have a window and I can see outside, and the sun is shining, hence this beautiful natural light. It's getting warm, which means our guests are going to be coming in wanting to feel that springtime weather, the springtime vibes on themselves as well. And that's exactly what I'm going to be delivering y'all today with some really fun formulas that you can create with, of course, Hydro Gloss. That has been one of my favorite tools in my toolbox is been Hydro Gloss, and utilizing it and kind of really challenging myself as an artist to not just go the regular route, which is what do I have in a tube? If I want a color and I can't make it, you know, oh, I don't see that color in Hydro Gloss, so I'm going to go use something else. Or, oh, I don't have that, so I might have to use ChromaSilk. I'm going to challenge everybody here today to take like relook at your Hydro Gloss, relook at some color theory, relook at some formulation, and let's have some fun with it because I promise you, I'm going to show you some really fun colors that I created. And this was all done with Hydro Gloss. And just a little bit, like I'm going to show you some of my favorite additives, I like to call them, to utilize in your own formulas just to really kind of spice things up or spring things up as we are doing today. And just, again, having some fun. Sam already introduced me, but I'll introduce myself one more time. My name is Melody Larissa, and I'm a I would say global creative artist with Pravana. I've been with them for 12 years, since 2013. It feels kind of crazy that it has gone by so fast, but I love every single year. I love the growth and opportunities I've gotten. And one of my favorite things is coming here with my fellow educators, with my fellow stylists, and just playing around and formulating. So thank you all for having me. Thanks for showing up. Hopefully you have your cup of coffee, your Starbucks, which, by the way, I don't know if anybody else has noticed this. I saw it on TikTok, and by golly, it's true. They started writing you cute messages on your drinks now to interact, and I love that. Mine says enjoy, and I'm going to. So let's get kick started with Hydro Gloss. Kind of want to go over the basics of it real quick, just so we have an understanding of what we're utilizing. As always, I do have my phone on me that is in the comment section. So if anytime you have a question or you need me to reiterate something, please hop on here and ask your question. Sam does have my formulas. So she will be putting those formulas also in this chat when we start kind of playing around with them, just so you have what it actually is. Remember, whenever we're utilizing anything with Hydro Gloss, first things first is we're always going to grab for our zero lip developer. Always, always, this is what we're utilizing because Hydro Gloss is our demi-permanent color. Demi-permanent color, and it is mixed to a 1-to-1 mixing ratio, right? And just in case, if you're ever forgetting and you're in a rush and you're like, how the heck do I mix this? You're just going to go around the back and it's going to say right there, it's a 1-to-1. That means 1 part of your Hydro Gloss to 1 part of your zero lift developer. Now you might ask me, Melody, what happens if I don't have zero lift developer? Can I use 20? No. Can I use 10? What about 40? Nope. We want to use zero lift because it is a demi. It just needs whatever is in our zero lift developer to oxidize this color and to utilize it. So you heard that here, zero lift all the time. So a little bit about Hydro Gloss. Again, mixing ratio is 1-to-1. It is great. It is very pigmented. I like to always kind of start off by saying that it is an alkaline demi-permanent color, which for me is amazing because that is how you're going to get those vibrant, beautiful color. You're also going to get that long-lasting result that Hydro Gloss gives you. Again, up to, I believe, like 30 washes Hydro Gloss gives you, which is amazing. Obviously, that is when we say that, we're also saying, hey, what's on your client's hair? How are they taking care of it? Are they using the Pravana Care styling line? But that is a lot. That is a long time for a demi-permanent color to work, which that is why I love it. On top of that, you have beautiful shine because of the amazing ingredients that are in Hydro Gloss. It's going to leave that hair not only looking shiny, it's going to be looking hydrated, and also, again, long lasting with that color. Another thing that I really love to kind of break down with Hydro Gloss is some of our families. Now I want to kind of go through because we are going to be talking about them, but does everybody know that Hydro Gloss just launched their warm series? Woo, give it up, make some like hearts, make some high fives up in the comment section. We're very excited about that. They launched some of their warmer shades, which is to me so vital. I love them. I've used them. I'm currently it right now. I decided to sit there and transform myself into a copper beauty because I was like, Pravana just launched it. I'm going to do it. So some of the warmer shades that they launched, you're going to be seeing them in some of my formulas, is that we just came out with a 7C, a 7G. We came out with a 6 GC or a 6 gold copper. We also have a 9G as well, which I utilize a lot. We came out with a 3R. So we came out with a nice, again, launching some of our warmer tones. Why? Is because our guests are wanting to see some warmer colors, and you're going to see that in some of the formulas that we did today. But anyways, that's just a little bit about our Hydro Gloss. Some of the shades I am going to be using is, again, I talked about the warm series, but you're also going to see some B series in there. You're going to see a lot of clear, because clear is your best friend. When working with Hydro Gloss, I swear, especially when you're trying to come up with some really fun formulas, make sure you have clear on standby. It is one of the most essential tools that I feel like I use in my Hydro Gloss series. Not only is it just like a great way to kind of mix some combo shades, but for example, say you are looking for a 10 ABV, but maybe you have 7 ABV instead, and you're like, okay, well, I don't have 10 ABV. Hi, grab some clear, and you can get yourself to a 10 ABV with adding some clear in there. Again, you can just mix and match, and that's kind of what today is all about. But that's, again, a little bit about Hydro Gloss, what I'm using, what we're going to be kind of talking about with our formulation. So tell me right now in the comment section, I want to know, what are some formulas that you are seeing right now heading into springtime? What are some things that you're seeing behind the chair? What are some requests? What are some asks? I can tell you right now, it's still very warm behind the chair for me. So I'm still seeing people ask for copper. I'm actually seeing people ask for kind of like peachy copper tones as well, like maybe even light copper, strawberry. Let me know in the comment section if you have any requests from your guests. I still see a little bit of like that mushroom brown color going around as well, especially for my brunettes, or when they go lighter, they like that. They enjoy that mushroom brown tone as well, or mushroom brown, or like the teddy bear brown. Those are some formulas. And then of course, blondes, be blonding. We have the warmer tone of blondes, which I'm so happy for, because as much as I love my cool tone blondes, it's nice to see some warmth added back in there. But all right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started on some of my formulas and show them to you, because we have some fun breakdowns of what we're going to be doing. So again, I talked earlier about how I like to have fun with Hydro Gloss, and that's not just me taking one tone and being like, okay, well, this is it. So for me, when I look at my Hydro Gloss arsenal, what you probably won't find in there is something that you can just grab out of the tube that looks like this. All right, so this is going to be my pink peachy tone. All right, and before I get started and breaking down what these formulas are, let me know if you guys can see these okay. Again, you all are my eyes. I can only see so much. And Sam, if you can you make me a spotlight, or make me, hold on real quick, go bigger up on the screen. I don't know how to do that with myself, but all right. So as you can see here, hopefully y'all can see these pretty okay. No one's answering, so no answer. I'm gonna say it's everything. Perfect. All right, so I use my whiteboard because this is really nice to be able to see everything, but this is a cute peaky, pink peachy tones. Again, this isn't something that you're just gonna grab out of one tube with Hydro Gloss. You're gonna mix, you're gonna play. So real quick, I wanted to show you what we're starting on when I am playing with these, just so you kind of get an idea of like where and what I'm swatching on, just because I did color that entire swatch. Is these are what I am using. So I'm using something that is around like a level 8. There's only one color in here that I used probably around like a level 7 or 6 on, and I'll show you that. But we have something around the level 8 that I'm swatching on. We have our level platinum, Yep, we have the level that, our level twos want to be. This is it. So we have our platinum shade, and then we have a level 10. What's nice about this is that this still has a little bit of underlying warmth to it. So it feels very realistic to what a level 10 is. I always laugh and they're like, yeah, this is level 10. I'm like, no, like that's the level 20. This is more realistic for level 10. And these are the swatches. These are the tones that I swatched on. So you guys can kind of get like a realistic visual of what was happening here. So, alrighty. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the pinky tone that I created. I did two things. So the reason why you're seeing double on here is because with our Hydro Gloss, we say you can process up to 20 minutes. It really all depends on like what you're trying to get as an end result, right? So for me, sometimes when I'm utilizing Hydro Gloss, I'll just let process for 10 minutes. If I like what I see, I'm like, okay, 10 minutes, that's perfect. That's what I'm going to use. Sometimes I'm like, hey, I need that entire 20-minute processing time on there, especially when we're thinking about our coppers, our deeper tones. Yeah, you're going to want that full saturation. You're going to want that full deposit of color. So that's where you can use that. Hey, it's 20-minute processing time for this. So for my pinky tone, what I utilized is I'm utilizing parts instead of grams or ounces. You can do that yourself on your end. I find that whenever I use grams, someone's always asking for ounces. So I'm utilizing parts for this. So you can take that and use it how you need to. But for the pinky tone, I use 5 parts clear, 5 parts 8B, and 2 parts of 5R. All right. So as you can see here, I utilize that 5R, but the majority of this tone is going to be clear and then 8B. So just look. So if I have 10 parts, so if 10 parts are going to be, if 10 parts are clear in 8B, all right, and only 2 parts of 5R, you can see just how powerful that 5R is. And that's why I say, like, a lot of times these tones are going to be like what I like to call additives, right? My additives, if I'm adding it to a color, are always going to be, we have 3R now with Pravana. So you have your 1B, which is our level 1 black, blue black. We have our 3R, which is our level 3 red. We have 5R. We have 5S, which is level 5 smoky color. It's beautiful. And these are really good tones to add in as additives. We also have we have 7CR2. That's a really great additive as well because it's a copper red. It's very vibrant. So these are tones that I like to add in just a little, just little. Wow, totally gonna try that swatch. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. So again, going back to it, we have 5 parts clear, 5 parts of 8B. And when you're thinking about 8B, you're like, that's a level 8 blue. Now, again, when we talk about Hydro Gloss as a demi-permanent color line, we're also going to talk about how much tone and pigment is in each color. So that 1B, why you'll see me utilizing it a lot is because it's a level 1 blue black. It has a ton of blue pigment in it because at a level 1, you need a lot more blue pigment in it to kind of get that result of a bluer tone. So I know that if I just use a little bit of 1B, I'm going to get a heavier saturation or a heavier dye load of a blue tone, which is going to be great for some of my colors. Then I go up to 8B. Well, 8B is going to be softer, right? So 8B or 10B, those are going to be softer versions of blue. Why? Is because they're not needing as much pigment at those higher levels, right? So at 8B and 10B, you're not really trying to get this vivid blue saturation. You're just trying to use it more as like a toner, as a cooling agent and a color. And that's exactly what I did for this. So when I was thinking of this pinky tone, I knew that 5R, again, it's very pigmented and just a little bit of it is going to do the most. So I wanted to make sure that I was kind of cooling it down a little bit. I just wanted to control it a little bit. And I didn't want to control it with green, right? Because if you want to control it a lot, you're going to use something that is green based. And I didn't want to do that. I wanted to control it or cool it down a little bit or kind of almost make it a little violet-y, I guess you could say, with adding some of that 8B. But remember that B at level 8 is way softer. It's not a heavy pigmented. So I knew it wasn't going to do a lot of like turning this color violet. I knew that red was still going to do its thing, but it softened it. And that's exactly what you're seeing here. You're seeing a very softened version of this. I have my light here and I might even throw that. Yeah, that didn't do too much. All right, so that is what we have here. So up top, what you're seeing is it at 10 minutes. So it at 10 minutes is soft. All right, so 10 minutes, it's softened, it's saturated, it did its thing, but it's still a very softer shade at 10 minutes. Then I let this bad boy sit on, as you can see at the bottom, for 20 minutes, and it is way more saturated. So at 20 minutes, you can see it deepened in color, but not too much, not too much to where you're like, wow, that is a whole nother shade. It's still in the same family. Because sometimes when like I feel like people say, oh, well, I just let it sit on for a couple minutes and I took it off, I feel like you're not really getting the true representation of what that color could look like, because within like another, I don't know, 10, 20 minutes, it could develop and be something completely different. But I guess that's the point, right, of toning and being able to use your artistry and your eye to kind of do what you want. But this is showing you that 10 minutes, this is where it developed to. It's lighter, it's softer as it's going to be. And 20 minutes, it deepened, probably another, I would say probably a good shade and a half. It went down a little bit darker. Still great, still a great option. So either or, if you're wanting to keep it on the lighter side, 10 minutes is great. If you're wanting to just get a little bit more deposit, 20 minutes is definitely a great option too, especially if you're worried, if you have clients who are like, is this going to fade out in a couple washes? Or is this going to fade too much? 20 minutes is a great option for that. So perfect. So that is a little bit about that pinky tone. Again, we'll kind of break down more about, oh yeah, absolutely. So when we're looking at the formula for our pinky tone, it's going to be 5 parts clear. It's going to be 5 parts of your 8B. And then it's going to be 2 parts of your 5R. Now remember, that is going to be that plus equal parts of your 0 lift developer, always. So equal parts with your 0 lift developer. So whatever you do with here, whatever grams or ounces, just remember equal parts is going to be your 0 lift. Sound good? Perfect. Awesome. Alrighty, my friends, I'm going to keep it rolling and going. Of course, you're going to fall off here. Why wouldn't you? I don't want to use anything stickier than like regular tape, or else like it's hard to get these off. I was gonna try like duct tape, and I was like, nah, not this morning, not today. All right, so I'm going to switch this on to the back. So I have 2 colors here. I have one that I named Sunkissed, and that's going to be this cute little blondie at the bottom. I really like this color. Actually, I feel like it's okay represented on the screen, but I feel like in person it's really pretty. It's giving me, again, that kind of strawberry blonde moment that people are wanting, just like that very soft, like if people are wanting to try copper but are like a little bit too scared to like go full blown into a copper realm, I feel like this is really pretty for some of those blondes. I'm especially thinking like adding it in as like an accent color, or like maybe like a low light in someone's hair if they're really blonde, just adding back some warmth with purpose. I think this would be really pretty. And then I have a color that's called Amber up here that I really think is gorgeous as well. Again, these are all warmer tones I'm playing with right now. The amber tones up here, this was swatched again on that level 8. So we're level 8 and then a level 6. So these weren't swatched on Super Blonde because I wanted real representation of what this is going to look like. And a part of that conversation is making sure you're swatching on swatches that are meant for that color, right? So I want the underlying pigment to be where that color is going to live best on. And this formula would not live best on levels 11 and 10, all right? This is going to be best lived on levels 8, 7, and 6, I would say, especially for longevity and just to really get the richness of the tone. So again, that's that level 8 swatch right there. And I did do a level 6 swatch as well. And the level 6 swatch is going to be that darker one. So let's go ahead and talk about the amber tone. So I used some of our warm series that we just came out with, all right? So I did 3 parts of our 7G. I did 1 part of our 5R, just 1 part of 5R in this, okay? That is how intense, that's how pigmented this color is. And then I did 1 drop, just 1 drop. And I say that because it's not 1 part, it's 1 drop because it is very pigmented. I didn't want it to go too cool of 1B. Again, I like to use 1B, 5R. I like to use them as accent tones. I like to add them in as additives, I guess you could say, into your formulas just to kind of play around with some depth. And again, just how pigmented they can be. They can just just a drop, it can just add so much to it. So right here, I'm going to get up close. Hopefully you guys can see this pretty well up here. Get this out. All right. So again, this is going to be our amber tone. This is it on a level 6. It's really pretty. I'm so happy because Pravana came out with the new warm series, and it's stunning, right? Those warmer shades. That 7G is just so rich. I was actually funny enough, I was trying to make a green. I was trying really hard to make a green for y'all. I was like, I am going to make a green tone with Hydro Gloss. I was trying so hard. But our G series is soft. Like our golds are not like this yellow, yellow, yellow gold. They are like a replica of what our ChromaSilk series is. And our ChromaSilk golds are not a harsh gold. It's not like a yellow gold. They're soft, they're buttery, they're meant to be wearable. So every single time I kept trying to take like a 7G and just add a little bit of 1B to it, it didn't really make a green, and it just made like almost like made like a brown more than anything. So I was like, dang it, like you're ruining my formulas. But also, hell yeah, that like our G series is just so soft and wearable. So it's a great color for anybody that's wanting to add gold into their formula. So again, this is on a level 6. I call it amber. It's really pretty. Mostly gold. All right. So mostly gold. I added just a little bit of that 5R into it. Not a lot, but you can just see that adding in just a little bit of that 5R, it did the most. It really went in there and played with that gold. It made it really pretty. And then this is it, that same formula that's on a level 8. All it did on the level 8 is it just brightened it, right? Because your underlying pigment on a level 8 is lighter, it's brighter. And so that's pretty much all it did. I added that 1B in there just to add a little bit of depth. And actually what I'm seeing that it did is when I play with the color, because really realistically, G and 5R, like those are very warm tones. And if you kind of just get up close and personal with this, you'll kind of see there's a little bit of like a cooler sheen to this. Almost kind of reminds me of like a little bit of like mahogany. So I think that 1B, even just a drop, just add a little bit of coolness to this color. Not a lot, but I think it just went in and just cooled it down just a little bit. Not enough to sit there and say, oh, wow, that's on the cooler side, but just enough to help control some of that warmth. So maybe that it isn't so screaming gold red, right? Because gold red can be very bright. And I think adding a little bit of that 1B just help control that. So that is where we're at with this. So that's our amber color. And then let me go ahead and get down to our sun-kissed color. Again, I really like this. It's really nothing too crazy, all right? This was actually one of the easier formulas. This is going to be 5 parts clear, 3 parts 7C, and then I did 1 part 8B. All right, so 1 part 8B. So we have lots and lots of clear in this, okay? Because I wanted to stay, obviously I'm using 7C in this formula. Like I'm using 7C, but I don't want it to deposit down to a 7C, right? Like I want it to stay pretty light and bright, so it complements those levels. So it complements like a level 9, a level 10. I want it to be lighter and brighter for those levels. So I use a lot of clear in this, so 5 parts clear. And then I did add that 7C in here, but obviously you can see that I did 8B, only 1 part 8B, but all that 8B is doing is it's just helping control it, right? It's helping control that copper. So that way that copper doesn't completely take over that formula. But keep in mind, there's more copper than there is blue, right? So even though that 8B, remember our B series, the higher it goes, the less pigmented that blue is going to be. Our 7C is very pigmented. And even with like 5 parts clear to it, I didn't want the C to take over and get super bright, because if you add clear like to a copper tone, it can make it a little bit lighter and brighter. So I wanted to control that a little bit. So that's why I added in that 8B, just a little 8B, not enough to like completely take over, but it gives you this like very sun-kissed look. Again, you can kind of see in here. There's still like a little kiss of a copper in there, but it's not enough to be like, that's too copper. So again, this is great if somebody's wanting to be a little bit more of like a sun-kissed blonde, if they're wanting to be a little bit more strawberry blonde, right? That could work. If you're like, hey, I'd like to see a little bit more of that copper, just go ahead and take that 8B out. I think if you take that 8B out, you would see more of that copper reflection in there. But yeah, so that is going to be my warm tone. So here are my warm tones. Again, we have the pink, we have the really beautiful amber, that's for our darker levels, and we have something that is a little bit more sun-kissed for our blondies. Thank you, Sam, for putting those formulas in there. Give me a second. I'm going to reset. Any questions on these formulas that I just did? Any questions so far? Are we liking them? Do we like the idea of some of these like fun colors? Are you enjoying how I'm able to kind of get in here and create different tones? Again, stuff that you're not seeing in like our hydrogloss arsenal that you can just pick up and go with. But they're not that hard to create, right? Like they're really not that hard. And I feel like if you just give yourself, you just sit there and give yourself some time with your color wheel and just what you have available. And just not only with your color wheel, like as like, okay, if you add this color to this color, it's gonna give you this. No, I'm talking about like, we're looking at like our color spectrum. I'm looking at, okay, if I add this kind of blue at this depth, what is it going to do to my formula? If I'm adding clear, what is clear doing to my formula? You can have so much fun. This is where like the scientific, nerdy part, being a stylist can come in, and you can just explore, and the sky's the limit. And I'm so excited to show you this next color because it is a color that people would love to have. I've heard so many people say, hey, how can we get this color? Because we don't have it. There's not this color that you guys offer in Hydrogloss, and I hear it all the time. And it's funny because I'm like, that's crazy because I can make this color real fast. So what is a color that is in Hydrogloss that you wish was in Hydrogloss? You're like, I wish that color was in it. Awesome. So happy to hear that this is helpful. It is my favorite thing to sit here and just formulate and have fun. I love to lock myself up in my salon suite and do this. Literally, I was here Saturday. My day ended with my client at like 4 p.m. My day ended. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to sit here, put on my audiobooks, my spicy audiobooks, and listen. Very helpful, excited to try the warmer blonde. Yes, I promise you, you'll have so much fun creating that warmer blonde. I promise you. And again, what's nice is that Pravana just launched the warm series as well. So I feel like that makes it super easy to kind of get into that conversation. My friends, I am almost done. I'm just getting these swatches put on here. So just give me a couple more seconds. Let me see, what do I have? Why do I have, okay, so that's gonna be super bright. And then, okay, cool. All right, so I'm going to show you kind of what I did because there's going to be a little bit of like a time difference with some of these, just to give you an idea of what this can look like on a little bit more depositive on darker shades. So this is created with that 10 minutes. Okay, all right. So with the more strawberry-ish color, that was around 10 to 12 minute processing time. With that amber color, that was 20-minute processing time. Okay, and remember those pinky tones, I separated them. I did one part for 10 minutes and it gave me a lighter, brighter result, of course, because it didn't have time to fully develop. And then I left it on for 20 minutes, which dropped it down about a level and a half. So deposited just a little bit more, but in the same realm of pigment as everything else. So, all right, so I'm gonna get into this. I'm so excited because this is always like my favorite thing is, again, to challenge myself as a stylist when I look into my arsenal of like, well, we don't have that. We can create it though. So I would like to introduce you to purple, violet. We don't have violet as an option in Hydrogloss. We don't have it. Violet, you're turning violet, Violet. We don't have it as an option in Hydrogloss, but we can create it. So I want everyone real quick to think about how could you create a violet tone in Hydrogloss right now? If you're here with the line, if you used it, my most asked color, absolutely, and it's stunning. Like, I'm so mad. Let me get this light. Hold on, give me like 2 seconds because I feel like the light isn't lighting how I need it to. What did I do here? There we go. No, go back. Sorry, friends. Oh, come on now. You know, I just really wanted to get expensive lighting, and then like I didn't take any of the time to learn how to use it. I was like, I'm gonna get these really expensive lights, and then I took zero initiative to learn how to use them, and most of the time I don't know how to use them. Okay, most house collectors. Okay, so I didn't see anybody in there put what they think that they would formulate to get violet. Okay. All right, I'm seeing some answers. Yeah, you're heading in the right direction. How do you make purple? What two colors make a purple tone? Blue and red. Those two colors make a purple color, right? So here's a little bit more lighting for us that I just decided to amp up. So hopefully you guys can see this. So again, think about the swatches. So I have like the level 75 swatch, right? I got the level platinum swatch up here. So you can see it's very, and what's nice is when I put that color on this swatch, you could see, like, that's the nice thing about like swatching on level like 11 swatches is that realistically, it's not going to be the best, but you kind of get to see that underlying pigment a little bit better, like the guts of it, of like what the quality of that purple is going to be, in my opinion, and what the quality of that color is going to be when you kind of put it on something that's white, right? It's kind of like when you're creating a vivid color and you swatch on a white piece of paper. Well, most of the time that color is not going on white hair. All right. Most of the time your vivid's not going on white. So that's why we recommend, like, if you're swatching, try to use like paper or a color of a paper that's not white like this, because that's not going to be a realistic representation of what that color is going to be like. It'll give you a really cool color, be like, oh yeah, this is gonna look great. But then you sit there and you put it on, you know, your level 8 or your level 9. You're like, well, that's not what I swatched. Same conversation's happening here. It's pretty, right? It's really pretty on that level 27. It's really pretty on that platinum, but it's, you know, but you're not really going to get that. But what you are going to get, and sorry that there's hairs going everywhere. I had to reattach this, but you're going to get this. And that's a real. So this is going to be that was swatched on like a level 10 swatch. I go, oh, is that level 10? Hold on, 11. Yeah. Yes, it was swatched on this one. So swatch on something brighter like this, all right, which I think is pretty. And I'll give you my formula and you can see why. So that's the swatch. So this would be great on like a level 9, a level 10. It'd be really, well, again, level 9. You can see how even like on a level 10, like how deposited this color is. I did let this sit on for 20 minutes. So you can see just how deposited and how purple this color is. Now I did go ahead and I put this on a level 6. And you can see it's almost eggplanty. On a level 6, this would be a really great eggplant color if you put it on there. Really, it's going to look best probably on that level 9, in my opinion, just because of how it's depositing. It'll work well with that. But this kind of violet, it has a cooler background to it, right? So this cooler background violets are going to be best placed on something that has a little bit less heavier warmth background. And that's why it's thriving on level like 9, 10, in my opinion. So as it gets deeper, as into level 6, you know, you're going to have more warm reflective. It's going to give you more of that eggplanty. It's going to give you more, a little bit of something warmer. Still really pretty, but it's not going to be that cooler violet that you're looking for. To get that, you're probably going to want to use, I'll tell you, you're going to want to use something a little bit deeper in tone. So for my purple, I did 5 parts clear. Of course, I'm using clear and everything. Everything gets a clear. I'm like the Oprah of clear right now. You get a clear, and you get a clear, and you get a clear. That's how we're doing this, okay? So everything gets a clear. All right, I did that. I did 5 parts, 8B. So somebody was right. Yep, I see the 8B in there. So 5 parts clear, 5 parts 8B, 2 parts of 1B, and then you ready for the kicker? 1 part of 3R. Just 1 part of 3R, guys. That level 3R has so much pigmented, is so pigmented, right? Because it's deep, it's level 3. So they're utilizing a lot of heavier dilute of a red in there. It's a deeper red that I was able to just use 1 part of that and was able to get this beautiful outcome of this violet tone. And again, it's on the cooler side of violet. So if I wanted warmer, I could probably use a little bit more of my, I can use maybe like a 5R or something, but I distinctly wanted to use a 3R. Why? I wanted the depth, and I wanted the dye load that was at level 3 of that red. I wanted it, right? Why? Because I'm using it as more of a, I'm using it more as an additive in my color than the actual color itself. So that is why I used it the way I did. And it gave me this beautiful violet tone. Amethysty, if I do so say myself, is more of an amethyst color, if I do say so myself. Um, yeah, so let me know how you guys are feeling about this. Let me know. Again, as we get down into that level 6, that level 6, that level 7, it's going to have a little bit more warmer reflect, which is great because that's playing off that background tone. But yeah, so really pretty. And this even like on that like really super high level, that would be like a really pretty color too. It's not quite lavender. It's very much so like a lighter amethyst tone. It's very stunning. So let me know how you guys are feeling about this formula. It's nice. It's easy. That wasn't really that hard to make, right? So again, just go back over that. That is going to be 5 parts clear. That's going to be 5 parts clear, 5 parts of 8B, 2 parts of 1B, and then 1 part of 3R. So again, I didn't use that much red into this to get this really pretty purple tone. Just a little bit of that 3R in there to get this violet hue. Yeah, so the 5R is new. Yep, the 5R was just launched last month in February. So the warm series was launched. So 3R is new. You can find it at your I'm pretty sure you can find all that stuff at your local distribution center now. Like they should all your stores that you buy your color at should have that series in there. Oh, not the hair swatch is falling. All right, you can go over there and hang out. But okay, so I'm gonna move on from this, and I'm going to go ahead and head on to the back of this. Again, I let this all sit for 20 minutes. I wanted the most deposit. I wanted this to deposit. I wanted the full deposit of this. I did not take it off early. I thought about taking it off early. I saw it at the 10-minute mark and I was like, oh, I can probably take this off. And I was like, you know what? Let it cook. Let it cook. Let it sit. Let it simmer. Let's do a thing. And I was like, perfect. And I'm so happy I did. I got the full deposit. So, all right, now moving on to the back of this. This is going to be more of like my mushroom color. Who still gets that? I still get asked for mushroom, right? So mushroom to me is like, it's cool with warm reflect, right? It's cooler, but it has like a little bit of warm reflect to it. And that's exactly kind of like what I was playing with in my formulation. So I'm going to go ahead and give you the formula for this. And I'll kind of get up close and personal. So I did 5 parts of 7G. There we go. Adding in that new warm series, right? That 7G. So 5 parts of that. I did 1 part of 1B. And then I did 1 part of 8B. All right. No clear in this though. Surprise, surprise, I did not use clear in this. I even shocked myself. But 5 parts of 7G, 1 part of 1B, and 1 part of 8B. So just a little bit of that in this color. It's so funny. This was where I was like, I can make a green. I'm gonna make a green color. If I take yellow and I take blue and mix it together, I'm going to create that. But instead, I didn't. I created a mushroom brown, which I was like, I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take it. I did let this sit on. So I'll kind of tell you, I let the lighter shades sit on for 10 minutes. So this up here was 10 minutes. Again, that's on that level. That's that really light level 10 swatch right here. Perfect. Oh, perfect. I see somebody is like writing stuff down. So thank you. So level 10, and then that's that this one is that like lighter, brighter, right? That's like that really light, bright one. But I let the lighter colors from the blondes, I let that sit on for only 10 minutes. Okay. Then I had my darker, right? So I had my darker swatch. My darker swatch is going to be this, like around my level 8 swatch. Ooh, I let that one sit on for 20 minutes. So for 20 minutes, I let that one sit on, and it gave me this really like, again, like this like mushroomy blonde brawn color. And I love it. And I was so surprised by my end result, because it reminds you, I was trying to make like a green tone. So in my head, I was like, oh yeah, but again, our gold series isn't yellow. Our gold series isn't a harsh yellow gold. It's very soft in tone. So really all that happened there is that, yes, there is still, right? There's still going to be yellow and gold. You can't get rid of that. It's still there. It's just on the cooler side of gold. So all we did is that gold went in, it made some reflective tones, but that blue went in there and just helped mute it just a little bit more. Just kind of create a little bit of a muted moment. And you still have, again, that reflectiveness of gold. You still have that warmth of it. But yeah, so still really pretty. This was on that level 8 swatch for 20 minutes. It deepened, right? Because I have that 1B in there. So that 1B still is going to add down to the deposit. That level 7 was primary, like, right? So we know that we're going to get that really nice deposit down to level 7. So yeah, so here we go. So that is what I was able to create with that tone. Very pretty. I think very wearable. I have a lot of clients that would love to wear something like this, especially in these tones up here. I definitely have somebody. I have clients that would probably like something a little bit more mushroomy bronze tone. That would be it right there. So I was really happy to be able to make something like this. Perfect. Thanks. Oh, I'm happy that you're able to screenshot that. So my friends, I only have just a couple more formulas to go over. How are we feeling? Are we liking these? Are we able to see our guests wearing them? Do we feel like, yes, these are some fun springtime formulas that you can kind of bust out and kind of get your guest in? For me, I'm just trying to help you think outside the box of like what you can create. It's hard. I know a lot of us don't have time to sit there and go swatch for 4 hours. I know a lot of us don't want to sit there and play, well, let's see what this looks like on Deborah today, where I'm just going to play around and see what this looks like. A lot of us don't have time for that. So I'm doing the swatching. I'm doing the making the oopses. I'm making the discoveries. So you can take them, use them, and have fun with them. And I'm also just trying to make sure I'm breaking down that you understand like the levels that I'm placing this at, because there's nothing more devastating to me as a stylist than going onto somebody's Instagram page and them being like, look at my beautiful client. This was my formula. And then you're like, okay, well, where was your starting level? Like what blonde? What level blonde did you put this on? Was it on damp hair? Was it 10 minutes? Was it 20? Like, I feel like it's important that as I'm doing this formulation with you guys, I'm telling you, hey, 10 minutes, right? And then 20 minutes. And I'm giving you kind of like a starting point on what level of the blondes we're at, just so you have an idea and kind of can gauge that yourself. And if you need to tweak it, you can. So, alrighty. I'm going to go ahead, we're resetting our tones. I'm going to go ahead and stick my swatches up here. Boom, boom, boom. All right, my friends, just a couple more. Just a couple more. Hope everybody had a great weekend, by the way. Again, it's nice that I live in Columbus, Ohio, so it definitely is just warming up. And I just had a baby in November. I just had my son. And so it was really, really nice yesterday because listen, 55 degrees feels like a Bahama breeze to me, okay? 55 degrees feels like I'm in the tropics. And you bet the moment that I got up yesterday morning, I just threw on a sweatshirt. I got my son bundled up and we went to the park. We enjoyed the sunny day. And now today is going to be up to 60 degrees, okay? Now I feel like I'm in the desert. So we're going to go enjoy that. So I hope you guys are doing something fun to just enjoy, hopefully thawing out. All right, so I'm gonna just get these ones on here, just have a couple more formulas. Now these are going to be definitely on the cooler side. So we have our warm tones, we have some like fun ones, I would say kind of like, you know, that violet and that mushroom brown, a little bit like muted. Now I'm gonna get into, hey, these are some definitely cooler tones to play with. Just because again, we don't have these. These are ones that you kind of have to play and mix yourself. And I think that this is really fun. Again, another great way of just utilizing our Hydro Gloss collection and playing around and having some fun. Alrighty. Last but not least, get this one on here. Perfect. All right. Move this out of the way. All right, so this is going to be more of like my sky blue. So this is kind of not sky blue, but kind of like a little bit like a little bit of a dusty bluer tone. I think Pravana makes it pretty easy, especially with Hydro Gloss, to create some of these like bluer hues. I'm trying to like get these all situated out here. All right, perfect. Okay, so here we go. Again, we have our level 10 on top, and then we have our level like even lighter than that. And then we have our warmer tone, like a level 8 right here. So these were processed for about 12 minutes on top. This was processed for the full 20 minutes just to give it that full deposit of what it was supposed to be. As you can see, there's more yellow background on here. So that's kind of, again, when I was like thinking of, oh, I can kind of create like a greeny tone. Realistically, you could just take blue and clear and then put it on something that has more of a yellow base to it, like a level 8, and you can kind of get more of a green. But I will say, that blue still does a great job of kind of just being blue and smoking this out. I'm not really getting a lot of green as like the final color of this. I'm still seeing like a lot of blue. It's just more dusty. It's just more muted of a blue color versus it turning green. Like you would think, right? Like when you think about taking blue and you put it on something like a level 8 or level 9, you're like, oh, that's definitely going to be green. Realistically, like this still is almost, it really doesn't have a heavy green hue to it. But so these are just a really cool lighter bluish tone, kind of almost like a powdery blue tone, I would say. So powder blue, I think, is a great like verbiage or a great way to describe these. This was really fun, really easy to create. This is going to be 3 parts 8B, 1 part 1B, 3 parts 7G, and then 2 parts clear. So again, you have 3 parts 8B, 1 part 1B, 3 parts 7G, and then 2 parts of a clear tone. I think really like what happened here is like, you're probably asking like, why did you use like the 7G in there? Again, just talking about just kind of going in and softening up that tone, softening up that blue. Again, especially since in this formula, we have 3 parts of that 8B and then 3 parts of that 7G. They're kind of equal there, like not only in level, because 7 and 8 aren't too far from each other. So not only are they kind of equal in level, but they're equal in parts. And then I just added just 1 part of that 1B just to add some depth. Then obviously some clear in there just to help make sure we're keeping it on the like that lighter, brighter side of things. I didn't want it to go too dark. I wanted to keep it around that level like 9. I wanted to keep it lighter and brighter. So really what those kind of two did is that 8 and that 7G, they just kind of played well together. They just kind of softened that 7G, softened that color, then just adding a little bit of that 1B, guys, literally just adding that like 1 part of 1B just kind of came back in here and just helped keep that blue more vibrant. Still soft. Again, we're kind of getting more of that powdery blue. It's still soft, but adding that 1B in there just still kept that more blue hue to it, kept it more saturated that way. So really pretty. I think these are super, I know clients that would love to have something like this. This would be a fun formula just to play on, especially some of our blondes, especially if somebody is wanting more of like a cool platinum blonde. Yeah, I can definitely see somebody wearing this. Again, this is it on a level 10. It's a little bit deeper. It does not have like a greeny background to it as well. Like I said, like when you think of adding gold and blue together, you're like, oh, that's going to definitely be green, but it really didn't do that too much. So, and then this is me letting it sit on that level 8 for about that whole 20 minutes. Again, it's like a little bit more like that muted blue color. So that is what that is. Any questions so far? Nope, perfect. Okay, and so I'm going to go ahead and did I just mix these up? I sure did. Look at that. I mix these up. Oh, well, that sucks. Okay, well, all right. So everything that I just showed you, all right, so that entire formula, that was incorrect. That was a completely different formula that I'm going to share with you now. So everything I just said for the last 3 minutes, erase it out of your brain. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm so excited to show you this new formula that I created. It's so different and so fun for our blondes out there. Okay, all right. This was steel. All right, so this was going to be more of my steely. This is going to be more of my steel color. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I made that mistake, but it's okay. We're moving on with it. So this is going to be more of my steeler tone of blonde again. This is more of that direction. So we already kind of saw this. We saw the swatches. I went in depth about them. The only thing that's changing is going to be more of my, is going to be my formula. So my formula for my steel-ish tone for this color is going to be, here we go, 2 parts 10 ABV. I love this. ABV is ash beige, okay? So this is ash beige. stunning, especially at level 10. This by itself on a blonde is absolutely beautiful. It's wonderful. 10 out of 10, recommend. It is stunning. I want to play with it though, right? So I did 2 parts of 10 ABB. I did 1 part of 1B, again, adding back in that depth. And I did 1 part of that 9G in there. And then I did 3 parts clear. So I want to make sure we're keeping this light and bright and just kind of help just kind of diffuse a little bit of that color in there just to kind of help diffuse, keep it lighter on the brighter side of things. So that was what I used for that steel. So that 10 ABB, that's ash beige. It by itself is a very cool color, especially on a level 10. It on a level 10 is going to give you a very steely, going to give you kind of, again, that chromish blonde look. So adding to that, steel color, yes. So adding to that is going to be, again, I added that 1B in there, just a little bit of 1B, just to kind of emphasize, to bump up that blue that's in there. Because that beige is blue violet, all right? So our beige color is a blue violet tone. So just to help support some of that blue that's in there. Also, our ash is a cool, so our ash color and ChromaSilk is going to be a cool green base. So you're wondering like, well, how is it a cool green base at level 10? Again, we go back to how much pigment is in what. The higher you get up in level, you need kind of less or lighter, brighter version of it. So that ash beige at level 10 is going to be, again, give you more of that steelish, more of that chromish look versus like a green or a blue, especially in our ChromaSilk and in our Hydro Gloss. So I did add a little bit of that 1B in there just to help support some of that bluer hue in it. And then I did add 1 part of 9G, all right? And that's just to help give it some reflect. I just kind of wanted to play and just see if I could get a little bit of reflect in there. 9G is very soft. Also, it's at a higher level. Just wanted to play around. And then I did 3 parts of clear. So that is what gave me more of my steeler tone. So more of my steely gray tone. That is what this is. I was wondering, I was like, this does not look like what I created for my formula, but go on with your bad self. So that is what this is. So that is these tones. All right, now that I'm done embarrassing myself, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the back color, which is this one. All right, so this is going to be like more of like my moonstone. If you don't know what moonstone is, go ahead and Google moonstone. It's pretty. It's really pretty. It's a really pretty tone, and that is what I created. So again, I actually let these sit on for a total of 20 minutes. I did let these sit on. These ones back here, I let these sit on for about 12 minutes, and then I let this deposit for the full 20. This over here, I let everything deposit for the full 20 minutes because I wanted to see what this would look like at full deposit, and that's 20 minutes. So for Moonstone, what this was again for Moonstone, again, I apologize, that this is going to be 3 parts of 8B, 1 part of 1B, 3 parts of 7G, and then 2 parts of clear. Now that we got that up here, this is what our final result is. And this is me allowing it to sit on for that full 20 minutes. All right, friends. So full 20 minutes, deposit. That's on that level 10 swatch. That's on that lighter, brighter swatch. And this is this color on that level 8 swatch here. So this definitely, this looks very denim-y. Like this has a very denim vibe to it. And it deposited really well on that level 8 swatch. I was actually kind of surprised how well that deposited. Same thing with this one. I was like really surprised like how well it deposited for like that 20 minutes and what it looked like. Same thing. So to me, this has a very much more cooler persona, has a cooler vibe. Obviously, the deposit on this is a lot deeper, right? We're dealing with levels 7, levels 8 that I'm utilizing in there. I did use 1B. So the level that I'm trying to keep at is a little bit deeper in deposit. And that's kind of what you're getting here. So this is more my moonstone color. I find it really pretty, dusty. It works. And again, just another color to add to your arsenal. So, all right. I'm going to see what time we have. It's 55. Perfect. This was great. Let me go back to my comment section. Amazing. All right, my friends. So now that I have gone through all of these formulas, I've gone through so many of these formulas. I was trying to kind of break them down as I went along just to kind of give you an idea of where everything can live. Do we have any questions about anything? No questions so far. And thank you to whoever is sitting there and writing down the formulas. Just in case, that's a great. Sam also did, if you kind of go up a few, she also put in the formula as well. So they're already up there. Oh, absolutely. I'm so happy I was able to help. So keep in mind, mostly like when we're thinking about formulation and perfect. Thank you, Sam, for doing that as well. Thank you for recapping that. So just kind of keep in mind, like when we're playing with our color formula, it's not enough to just sit there and say, okay, well, I want to create this color, right? Like we're going to be like, okay, I want to create this color. So there's going to be a few things that we want to think of, all right? Of course, we're going to want to think of level, right? So we're like, okay, I want to think of level. Your level is going to be 1 through 10, right? So let's come up with what our level is. Is this level 1 through 10? When you're looking at a color, that's what you want to sit there and ask yourself, what level is this? Is this a 10? Is it a 9? Is it a 7? Y'all, why is this important? Because something that you're going to put on a level 7 is going to be wildly different than something that you're going to place on a level 9. It does make a difference, especially if you're wanting to put something on a 10 versus something that you're putting on a level 7. Like for example, hi, look at like my purpley hues. This is going to be best at a level 9. This is going to be best at level 9, 10. If I put it on something darker, as you can see, it's not going to pack the same punch. Why? It's because it was formulated for something lighter, the background tone. The next thing you want to go to is you're going to want to, again, what is the tone I'm trying to create? I'm trying to create a tone. I go back to that violet color. We love that. We love violet. How do you create violet, right? Like, how are we creating violet? What are we putting in to create violet? We know that we need blue. We know that we need red. But what kind of violet are you trying to create? Are you trying to create a violet that has more of a bluer background, like the one that I created? That one has more blue background. Are you trying to create something that has warmer? Again, all depends on where you're trying to live too. If you make something, you're like, hey, this is made for a level 7, then you already kind of have your underlying pigment, right? You have your underlying pigment that has a warmer background to it. So kind of keep that in mind. And the last thing that you want to do, so you have your tone that you're trying to create, is you want to look at your chroma. Your chroma is going to be your purity of color. So, right? So you have your level 1 through 10. You have your tone. Am I purple? Am I copper? Am I red? Am I brown? Am I blonde? Am I what color blonde? Then you have your chroma. That is going to be your intensity of your color, right? So is it going to be as intense as, go back to these? Are you going to create something bluer? Do you want as blue as you can get? Are you wanting something blue? Or are you wanting something maybe just like a little bit more muted? Are you wanting something a little bit muted on this side? So those are things that you're creating. Those are thought processes that you want to have as you're mixing, as you're creating your colors. Level, your tone, and your chroma, that it's the purity of your color that you're trying to create. So I appreciate y'all coming here, hanging out with me. We have 1 minute, so I'm just going to slightly recap. We had some fun times creating some springtime tones, getting into some formulation. We played with all things Hydrogloss. Make sure you check out our warm series that we just launched in Hydrogloss. Again, that's going to be our 3R, which we played with today. It's going to be our 7C. That's going to be our level 6 gold copper. That's going to be our 9G. That's going to be our 7G. That's going to be our 9. I believe we have a 9 gold copper as well, I believe. Those are fun pigments. Yes, absolutely. Thank you all for being here. Hope to see you in my other classes. So I hope you guys enjoy your day. And Sam, I'll let you take it away from here if there's any parting goodbyes or anything else.